All right, now we are going to work through Build My Life in the key of G. But we're gonna do this two different ways. I'm going to show you the root position for this, and then I'm going to show you how I would play this. Now, when I talk about how I would play, I use inversions, which means I don't just play the chords as they're regularly stacked. Here's an example. G is stacked where G is where your thumb is, and then your next finger is on B, and your next finger is on D. But most of the time, so that my fingers can be closer to the next chord, I will change the order of these notes. So instead of it going from G to B to D, I might take that D from the top and move it down underneath so that it looks like this. That way, when I'm going from my 1 chord to my 5 chord, instead of having to move my entire hand, I just have to move these 2 fingers, and now I'm at the 5 chord. Okay, so in Build My Life, we'll start simple, just the root chords, and then we'll work our way to be a little more complicated, but it'll end up being easier for your fingers. So Build My Life starts with G, which is our 1. So worthy of every song goes to C, which is 4, we could ever sing, and it goes back to G. Worthy of all the praise to C, we could ever bring. Then it goes G to C again. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe, we live for you. So you may have recognized the number order. I'll give you a moment to think about it. What is the chord progression in numbers? That means when we're talking about a 4, 5, 6 chord progression, what is that for this verse? If you said that it is 1 to 4 to 1 to 4 to 1 to 4 to 1 to 4, you were correct. And the majority of this song does follow that same chord progression. Once you get it down, it doesn't take much thought. So this is a good song to use to improvise and figure out different ways you can play it. So now that we've played it in root position, where our chords are stacked in the proper way, the triad, where we have 3 notes and then we have 2 notes left up, okay, for both of those chords, we are going to change up our chord and use a different inversion. So G, root position, is G, B, and D. So to do first inversion means for us to take this G that is underneath and to take that out and put the G above. So you now should have your chords stacked to be B, D, and G. It's still using the same 3 chords, but the same 3 notes, but they are in a different order. So now we are playing first inversion. So let's hear what it sounds like if I play Build My Life in first inversion with G to C. So we have worthy of every, and I go to root C. Look, I just have to move 1 over with my fingers. Song we could ever sing. Then you move those 2 fingers back down. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Move it back down. Worthy of every breath we could ever sing. Breathe, we live for you. Okay, now I'm going to do this now with second inversion. So let's start at root position, where in G, root position starts with G, and then B, and then D. In first inversion, we took that G from the bottom and moved our fingers so it's at the top. So now it is B, D, and G. So to play second inversion, we again move the bottom note to the top, taking B and moving it to the top, so that we're starting with our D, which used to be our last note, and we're ending with our B, which used to be our middle note. Same 3 notes, just a different order. So now let's play from here and see how we can get to C the easiest way. So we have worthy of every song we could ever sing. But that way, when we did it, we had to move all 3 of our fingers. We had G, worthy of every, and in order to get to C from G in the second inversion, we had to move everything. We don't want to have to do that. So we're going to go from G, second inversion, to C, first inversion. And you're like, whoa, 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 how do we get to C first inversion? I'll show you. C root position has C, E, and G. Now, if we follow our method of making inversions, we take our bottom note and we move it to the top. So C, first inversion, is going to be made up of E, G, and C. Same notes, but in a different order. So if we do G, second inversion, which is right here, we are playing D, G, and B. And if we play C, first inversion, which is here, we're playing E, G, and C. What you'll notice is that they both share the note G. So we don't have to move it when we're going between chords. We have G, we have C. So all you have to do is move the notes that are around it. So let's play it knowing that. We're playing second inversion of G, which looks like this. And then we will play first inversion of C, which looks like that. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, and worthy of every song we could ever sing. Just move the outside of the notes. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. That makes it a whole lot easier for you to not have to look down at your fingers all the time because you're rooted. You have that G that you can always count on and you can feel where you're supposed to be. Now, an easy way of playing this, and it's kind of the cheat code that you'll hear most of the time in worship, is not playing the whole chord at all. Just playing your perfect fifth, which would be playing 1 and 5, 5 being up here, but we're gonna move it down low, over every chord. So now I just have to focus on my bass line, where I go from G to C. Worthy of every song we could ever sing. Notice these two stay the same the whole time. Worthy of every song, praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. You can even move chords. Now, the reason that works is because when you play 1 and 5 together, they call it perfect fifth because of the way that you can move around with it. When you play these two notes, you can play every bass note that you would like to. So we have 1, we have 2, still sounds good. We have 3, we have 4, we have 5, still sounds good. We have 6, still sounds good. We have 7, still sounds good. And we have 1. So a lot of times in music, really all you are doing is switching between inversions, like playing the root position or playing first inversion or second inversion throughout the song, or just playing parts of the chords as you play. And so I might start out this whole song of Build My Life just playing the perfect fifth, 1 and 5, which is in key of G, it's G and D, and then playing my bass line to keep it really simple, really soft at the beginning of the song. So dynamically we would have worthy of every song we could ever sing. Worthy of all the praise we could ever bring. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Okay, and then maybe for verse 2, I start to add some of those chords back in. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. And maybe I go to root for C to make it different. Okay? So now we're at the chorus of Build My Life in the key of G. And if we remember, just before we continue, in the key of G, we have 1 sharp. And so far in the song, we haven't had to use that because the 2 chords that we're playing don't use the note of F at all. But now we're about to get into where F is used. And so because of that, we need to remember that we are not playing natural F, we are playing F sharp. Because if we go all the way back to the beginning, where we have our major scale intervals, we know that we have whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And so we have our F sharp instead of our F. Now we can continue to the chorus. So the chorus starts on C, which is your 4 chord. And so it goes, we'll do root positions first. It goes, holy, there is no one. And then you go to A minor, like you. There is none, B to G side. Open up my eyes to E minor in wonder. And show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. That's a little high for me, but we have, what's important here is to see how far down and up the keyboard we have to jump when we are just playing the root positions. And so C, root position, holy, we have C, E, and G. And then we're having to go down to A minor, so we go down 2 white notes, A minor, which is A, C, and E, to go to G, which is G, B, and D, to go all the way up to E. The difference between, obviously the difference between 1 and 6 is 6 notes, right? And so when we're going from G all the way up to E minor, we have so much of a jump that you have to look down at your fingers. And sometimes it doesn't sound natural. And so we want to move just enough of these chords, just change enough of them to an inversion to make the song easier. So what chords are easy to play together? C is easy to play with A minor, that's not too far. A minor and G are easy to play together in root position. But because G and E are not close to each other, we need to change something. So this is how I would play it. I would start with, in C, I would play C as a root. Okay. But then when I'm going from C to A minor, instead of playing a root chord A minor, I would play first inversion. So take that A and put it at the top so that you're playing this instead. Notice that the difference between C and A minor, if you play it like this, is you play root C and you have G at the top. And then when you move to A minor, all you have to do is move your G to A. 1 note difference. Okay? Then from A to G, you will have to move all of your fingers, but you're just moving them all down 1 note. From G, which is right now in first inversion, to E minor, the easiest move is to take that D and make it E. Just 1 note difference, and it puts you in E minor from G. So G is first inversion, E minor is second inversion. Now, if you're playing with majorly white keys, you can tell the difference between first inversion and second inversion, because in first inversion, you have 1 white key sticking up. In second inversion, you have 2 white keys sticking up. Okay, that works. And G, first inversion is here. G, second inversion is here. And that has 2 white keys up. So let's go through this chorus using that. So we have root position C. Holy, there is no one. Just move your G to A. Like you, there is none. Move all your fingers down 1. Beside you. Open up my, take this D and make it E. Eyes before you. That's not even the words, okay? Let's do it one more time. C. Holy, there is no one. Just take that top finger, move it up. Like you, there is none. Move all your fingers down 1. Beside you. Open up my, move the middle finger up 1. Eyes in wonder. Okay, that is the whole chorus. You just play that twice through, because it goes, show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around you. Okay, now we're at the bridge. Now we're moving. We understand how these chords work. We're just introducing one more chord that we have not played in these progressions yet. So far we have played G, we have played A minor, we have played C, we have played E minor. Now we're gonna add D. For the bridge, we start on 4 or C. We go, and I will build my. We go to D, remember, we don't use F natural, we use F sharp. Life upon your love, E minor. It is from E minor to G, we can just move down one. Firm foundation, oh goodness. And I will put my trust, D with the F sharp, in you alone, E minor. And I will not be shaken with the G. And then you can repeat that as many times as you would like to. And remember, if an inversion is difficult for you, you can go back and simplify it and just play the roots. I will build my life upon your love. It is a firm foundation. It'll sound good just the same, but if you want to add variety, you can start playing around with these inversions.